Hi, my name is Phil Dudovich, solution engineer here at Microsoft, and today I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking about our quality evaluation agent in customer service and contact center. This agent, I think, is super cool because it's one of those pieces of tech that really gives us the capability to start to rethink some of the ways that we've operated traditionally within the contact center space. I'd say, traditionally, artificial intelligence capabilities, as we've seen them start to gather steam, have fallen into a couple of different categories. One of those is really taking existing processes and automating and streamlining those. And those can be super valuable, save a ton of time. But there's also some AI capabilities that can really more fundamentally start to shift about the way that we think about how we've operated our business. And I think that this is really one of those. So as we start to dive in, and we'll dive in and really take a look at the agent, what it is, what it does, and how we can configure it and fine tune it for our business. But I did think it was worth taking just a quick step back and really thinking about and talking about how Microsoft is really thinking about approaching the contact center customer service space, right? That's really holistic end-to-end approach that helps us monitor and engage conversations and interactions with customers from that initial email, web chat, inbound voice call, all the way through to the resolution of their issues. We've also taken artificial intelligence and really embedded that through that life cycle of the process. So everything from identifying customers' intent through real-time analysis of a call transcript or an email thread, being able to pull and extract information from that automatically to start to generate a case, being able to take a customer interaction where maybe we don't have an existing knowledge base, and if we do resolve that case, taking the learnings from that and automatically creating a new knowledge base article, right? So that every interaction that we have with a customer results in a better subsequent interaction because we have more knowledge. And then finally, what we're going to talk about here today is really making sure that every single one of those interactions is up to par in terms of how we expect our either virtual or human agents really to be interacting with customers on a real-time basis. So we can set really the key criteria. Hey, these are this is how we expect our folks to engage with our customers, and then using artificial intelligence ultimately to say, hey, did that meet our expectations? Is there a learning opportunity? Is there something that we could potentially do to improve that and incorporate that from a best practices process standpoint? So yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so the quality evaluation agent, what exactly is it? All right, here I've logged into my contact center application. This is actually a customer service workspace, but if I scroll down here, you see I can navigate to evaluations. That will take me to what is ultimately going to be the output of the quality evaluation agent. Okay. Now, what you're seeing on my screen is the result of a series of evaluations that I have run on existing cases or conversations in the system. Okay, so I can dive into the evaluation. I can see the type of record that this evaluation has been applied to, drill into the related record. And importantly, here I could see an overall score for that particular interaction. So, what the system's doing is it's actually looking at all of the information it has about whether it's a conversation or a case, doesn't matter, and then saying, hey, based on the criteria you've defined in your best practices, I'm going to score this particular interaction a 61 out of a possible 100. And we'll get in just a couple of seconds and see how we can set and fine tune and dial that in so that it really meets our needs. Next column over, we've got the evaluation method. This is pretty important too. You'll notice there's two different types. There's actually three types that we can set up here. We have an AI agent. So think of that as fully automated. We set the criteria for the conversation or the case. Once that conversation or case is closed out, the system then checks to say, hey, did the interaction meet our requirements? If so, it'll automatically complete it and score it. The other alternative is AI assisted. It'll essentially do the same thing, but it doesn't close out the evaluation. It's just going to create it as a bit of a notification. And you can see that reflected here in the evaluator status column as, hey, the AI is going to take a first pass, and then a manager or a user, whomever, could go in and double check and say, hey, do I agree with this? Do I disagree with this? Do I have any additional context that we need to define or add there? So let's go ahead and we'll dive in. We'll take a look at a couple of these. First one I'll take a look at is this case record. This is an AI assisted evaluation. So I'll pop this open, the evaluation, and on the right hand side we'll have our evaluation pane. So what's happened here is we've had the interaction with the customer. I've closed that out. The AI agent went through and it said, hey, how did we do on this particular interaction? The first thing we're going to have is the evaluation summary. This is pretty cool because it gives us just a quick overview of, hey, what was the inquiry? What happened? Why did the customer call in or send an email? What was the issue? So in this case, there was a skill mismatch that we needed to resolve on some project deliverables. But what you'll notice here is that the AI agent also takes that a step further and says, hey, the representative or the agent, if it's an AI agent, responded to this request by providing this subset of information. It's also then going to let you know, hey, maybe this particular agent got geared down a little bit or knocked down a few points because they did not use standard greetings or closings, nor did they incorporate company branding in their communication. So we're getting really just a quick snippet overview. What was the conversation? What happened? How did we resolve it? And what are the key items that made this maybe not an ideal interaction based on the criteria as we've set them out? Now, if we scroll down here a little bit in our side pane, we can take a little bit of a double click into why the scoring worked out the way that it did. And we'll take a look at how we can configure and change this a little bit later. But we can create different criteria that the system will then use as that scoring mechanism to make sure the interaction does in fact meet those best practices. So you can see here, we have a potential 10 points on the opening greeting. Did the agent initiate the conversation with the standard greeting incorporating the company's branding? The AI agent said no. Now I could come in as, because this is AI assisted, and say, oh, you know what, actually it looks like they did. We're going to change that a little bit, and that can scale that up. Maybe they did everything. We're going to bump that score up just a little bit, right? So this is really that AI assisted piece. It goes through, gives a first pass, but still gives the opportunity for somebody to come in and say, actually, you know, we did do these things, or I'd like to make some changes here. And ultimately how we handled that would potentially impact the overall grade. We've also got the capability to add some additional comments here down below. So this is super handy from a coaching perspective. Hey, you know, maybe I've noticed one of our particular reps, maybe there's a specific area for improvement. I just want to add some notes, or maybe I've noticed that they're repeating the same mistake, and I just want to add some comments here. We can update and add those comments on the fly, and then just save those into the system for our evaluation. Next thing I wanted to pop in here is just take a look at the fully automated, right? It's going to be pretty much the same. This one I thought would be interesting to show because it actually runs on a conversation record rather than a case record. So over here, you can see we've got our full transcript from the inbound call that ran through Teams dialing. And then on the right-hand side, we really have the same evaluation. Hey, did the service representative do the things that we would expect them to? Or where is there potential opportunity for improvement? But now it's going to be all AI managed and enabled. Okay. So that's all fine and well, right? Hey, we've got a lot of good information. We've got some evaluations. We can now start to really look at, you know, not only managing all of the cases, conversations that are going on a real time basis. This can help us, really hone in on the specific conversations that we might want to listen into. In this case, hey, this is a voice call. Maybe it's a 61. Maybe that's worth just listening to and bringing that back. But if it's scored a little bit higher, maybe I can just skip it. So really helps us manage those exceptions and spend the time where it's most valuable. Now, why this is super applicable, I think, to most organizations is that there's a ton of flexibility that can really help us determine how we're measuring what a successful or a good interaction looks like, right? So I've showed you the output. We really started this with the end in mind. Now I'll dive in just a little bit around the configuration and how we can set up the scoring criteria to really make sure they're matching our company best practices. So here I've just popped in to the criteria that I'm going to set for scoring, right? And all we need to do is create a name. We can give it a little bit of a description. And then if we want to give specific instructions for an AI agent, we can. So, hey, maybe you're providing white glove service to our most high value customers. Please consider X, Y, and Z. We really want to build those into how that agent is evaluating the interactions. We can do that right up front. So it lets us do a little bit of prompt engineering and design around how that AI agent ultimately will look at the subsequent conversation. From there, we can go ahead and actually build multiple different sections with various weights, right? So here we've got our opening and greeting. We're going to weight that as 10% of our potential total score. And then we've got our listening skills. That's going to be 40%. We've got our communication skills is another 10%. And then the close interaction being 40%. So we can set those weights for those various sections however we want. We can also create different variables around how we want to define our interactions to work. So this really opens up a lot of flexibility in, hey, how do we want to manage and measure these conversations, and what do best practices really look like for us or our particular team within the organization. From here, once we've identified our individual sections, we can then go ahead and create different questions that the agent is going to evaluate. So these can be yes, no's, multiple choice, choose from a list, or descriptive. And then we can just enter what that question is. So did the agent initiate conversation with standard greeting, incorporating company branding, etc., with some follow-up instructions to that agent. So this is really where we can go ahead, define what the initial question is that's going to drive the score. And in this case, since it's multiple choice, we can determine which option matches, so that when the AI evaluates the interaction, it's going to say, hey, based on the transcription, based on what I heard, it looks like they did thing one, but not thing two, or maybe they did all three, right? So we can get really granular in how we're starting to break that up and assign our points. Okay. Cool thing here too, right? There's also some flexibility in how we actually apply these evaluations. So if I pop back a little bit into a case, for example, I could go ahead and just use this request evaluation. So if maybe, hey, something runs through and I just want to say, take a retrospective look, let's go ahead and do a quick support quality evaluation. I can do that. I could also, though, go ahead and set a more automated, standardized planning type criteria where I want to say, hey, I am going to create different plans based on types of interactions and actually build various conditions into creating a list, which will then automatically trigger either real-time or follow-up evaluations for a subset of records. So, hey, maybe we're doing some segmentation on our customer base, and I really want to make sure we're keeping high quality service interactions, especially for my tier one segment customers. I can have an automated evaluation plan that runs every interaction, conversation, or case that we have with our tier one customers on a periodic basis so that I don't have to go through and manually manage those. Okay. So I hope that's helpful. I know this is a relatively new solution. I think it's super exciting in terms of where the solution's going. Like I said earlier, I think this is really one of the places where we can start to say, hey, not only are we going to use artificial intelligence to start to automate some processes, but also we're going to start to leverage it to change the way that fundamentally we think about our business and managing the quality of our customer service engagement. So please, if you have any questions, you'd like to learn more, feel free to reach out to us. Again, my name is Phil Dudovich here at Microsoft. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you.